Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. And today, guys, before I dive into the Bitcoin chart, of course, you can see that I have this new banner on the channel here. I tried to upgrade the style of the channel, which I posted as a post on YouTube yesterday. Of course, I should have seen this coming, but you guys were already roasting me right off the bat on this new style. So yeah, that was just really funny to read. Let me know what you think about this new style on the channel here. And now let's dive right into the Bitcoin chart for today. We're going to start on this 2-hour time frame for Bitcoin because currently we are still facing this big level of resistance, sitting from about 95K up to 96,000. Besides that, notice how right here today we made a horizontal low compared to these lows right here. So now we can identify this as a range, as a parallel channel that is simply trading sideways. And if you're looking for the next big move for Bitcoin, it will first have to be a break above or below this range here. The thing with these ranges is that it is very tough to make a call on which side this is actually going to break. It makes a lot more sense to just be neutral on the Bitcoin price while we are trading in this range. But then once we break the range, for example, to the upside, that would be the time to flip extra bullish on Bitcoin here. And of course, to the downside as well. If we break this to the downside, that is the time to be flipping bearish and to be expecting much lower price action for Bitcoin after that. I will show you some critical support and resistance levels to be paying attention to in the case that that happens. Basically, what makes the most sense while we are trading in this range is just to be taking long and short positions from the top and bottom of this range on the lower time frames. Of course, if you will zoom in, for example, to this 30-minute time frame, you can see that there's all kinds of opportunities, for example, for a short here, for a long up to this high, for example, a short back down to the low. So while we are trading sideways like this, it does not mean that it is impossible to make money in this market, but you do have to look for these opportunities on the lower time frames for now. Either way, let's now take a bit of a look on this 4-hour time frame here, because yesterday I was covering this ascending channel pattern. And I was basically saying, well, so long as we are holding above this ascending trend line in the Bitcoin price, then we're simply slowly trending up over time. Notice how now we actually have a candle below this critical level at 94.4K. And immediately we drop to 92.8K. So again, looking on these lower time frames is the way to go here if you are a leverage trader, because even a 2% move to the downside like this can be a massive opportunity if you are trading with leverage. Of course, I'm not telling you to trade with leverage if you don't know what you're doing, but I'm just showing you that the opportunities are still out there if you are looking for them. And guys, if you want to be taking advantage of these smaller moves in the market and you want to trade with leverage, I highly recommend you do it on one of these exchanges here. I've personally been trading on these exchanges for a long time, and a lot of the people in my community do so as well. For example, I know that a lot of creators in the crypto space are promoting VPN, but I have negotiated the craziest discount for you guys. Every creator out there is promoting a 10% trading fee discount. Meanwhile, the Road to 1 Million community is getting a 15% trading fee discount, which is 50% higher than what other content creators can offer their community. One thing to take note of though is that VPN isn't available in the United States. So in that case, I would recommend WeX, which I also have negotiated a massive trading fee discount of 33%. So I highly recommend you go and check these out. Either way, let's take a quick look at this 1-day time frame. Notice how right here, this level of resistance that I showed at the beginning of the video, this has not changed, and we are basically still trying to break this level of resistance. One thing I am noticing for now is that, well, we have a lot of touches with this top side resistance, and the more touches we have here, the more likely it is that we are actually going to break to the upside. Notice how right here on the 1-day time frame we also have this ascending trend line that we are slowly just trending towards. So for example, if we just keep trading sideways for another 5 days, 6 days or so, we will get a touch with this ascending trend line, and that will be the critical moment where we need to see a big bounce off of this trend line, because my base case expectation for Bitcoin is that, well, for example, if we get a touch with this trend line, at the very least, we are going up to 100K in the Bitcoin price. because here we have a ton of liquidity, which I will show you a little bit later on in this video. And of course, the big bearish signal here would be breaking this massive uptrend that we've been in. In fact, so far we've seen about a 30% move to the upside. So in the case that we break below this ascending trend line, that would be the time to be looking for much lower levels of support. At the very least, we're going into this big level of support sitting from 92 all the way down to 90,000. Next, let's take a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. First of all, on this 3-day time frame. Right now, most of the liquidity is sitting to the upside at around 96,000. Notice how this is also above the parallel channel that I showed you earlier on in this video. So it does seem more likely that we are going to break this to the upside. Make sure to watch for some actually good confirmation, because for example, if we just take out this level of liquidity at 96K and then reverse from there, we will have taken out most of that short-term upside liquidity and then just trade back inside the range, okay? So make sure you have a clear confirmation and a clear point of invalidation as well, which would be if we break back inside the range. However, if I take a look at the 2-week time frame, most of the liquidity is to the upside once again. Again, for now, it does seem more likely that we are going to break that to the upside at some point. And then lastly, on the 1-year time frame, we still have massive liquidity to the upside, sitting at 96.3K, where we have close to $40 billion worth of short positions that would get liquidated if the Bitcoin price reaches 96.3K, guys. And if I just take a look at this 2-hour time frame, that is literally right here in the chart. Like if we just do this from here, we are about to liquidate $40 billion worth of short positions. So to me, as someone that has been looking at these Bitcoin liquidation heat maps every day for a very long time, it seems almost inevitable that we are going to take out this liquidity very, very soon here. Of course, that is not financial advice, but I'm simply telling you what I'm seeing in the charts, and you can do with that information what you like. Lastly, there's also massive liquidity sitting at 100K. If we end up breaking to the upside above this 96K level, we take out the liquidity and do not immediately reverse. But to me, it also seems very, very likely that we are going to take out this liquidity at 100K as well. The point of invalidation for everything that I just mentioned is simply if we break below this ascending trend line, because at that point we have to entertain more bearish scenarios. But for now, my bias is still bullish and I am still targeting this 100K level here. Lastly, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables. Yesterday, we saw a net inflow of about $170 million, about 220 million of that coming into the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. However, we did see some small outflows from these other ETFs, which made the total inflow a little bit smaller. Either way, we're still seeing bullish inflows from these Bitcoin ETFs. And I mean, so long as this continues, these Bitcoin ETFs will have an upwards pressuring effect on the Bitcoin price. Either way, this has been today's market update. Don't forget to check out these massive trading fee discounts in the video description. But regardless, if you do end up joining those exchanges or not, thank you for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.